I never believed in anything paranormal. I was the kind of person who needed reasons, explanations, proof. Every sound had a cause. Every shadow came from something solid. Every strange feeling could be traced back to stress, exhaustion, or imagination. I believed fear was just the brain filling in gaps. I believed people saw what they expected to see. I believed stories like this only happened to people who were already looking for something supernatural. I wasn't one of those people. But that Christmas changed me. My name is Lily. I'm 32 years old, and this happened last Christmas night. A night that still makes me glance toward the fireplace, even when it's cold, even when it's silent, even when I know there's nothing burning inside it. That night, there were only 3 of us in the house: me, my husband, and our 8-year-old daughter. It was supposed to be quiet, comfortable, forgettable. Outside, heavy snow had buried the streets, layer after layer, the kind of snow that erases the world. Cars disappeared, footsteps vanished, streetlights glowed like distant stars behind a white curtain. The silence felt thick, like sound itself had been wrapped in cotton. Inside, everything felt warm. The fireplace was lit, flames moving slowly, deliberately. Shadows stretched and shrank along the walls. The Christmas tree stood in the corner, softly glowing. Red and gold lights blinked lazily. The air smelled like cinnamon, like hot chocolate, like something familiar and safe. It felt normal. Our daughter went to sleep around 10. She followed the same routine every night. A glass of milk, her favorite doll tucked under her arm, the blanket pulled up just under her chin. She didn't hesitate. She didn't complain. She didn't say she was scared. She didn't say she heard anything strange. Nothing felt wrong. Just after midnight, my husband and I sat near the fireplace. He scrolled through his phone, half interested. I read my book, half focused, half listening to the quiet. That's when I heard it. At first, it was so faint I almost ignored it. I thought it was the fire settling, wood popping, air shifting through the chimney. Old houses make sounds. That's what I told myself. But this wasn't a crack. It wasn't a pop. It was a whisper. Soft, thin, fragile, like it didn't have enough strength to exist. It came from behind the fireplace wall. I paused, held my breath, listened again. I asked my husband if he heard it. He didn't look up, said it was probably the wind. I wanted to believe him. Brick expands, chimneys echo, heat changes pressure. That's what logic said. But then it happened again. Clearer, closer. A voice. It sounded cold, not emotionally, physically, like something that had never known warmth. It said it needed help. It said it was freezing. My hands went numb. The book slipped from my fingers and hit the floor. This wasn't a child's voice. It wasn't a man's voice. It wasn't a woman's voice. It sounded like something trying to remember how humans speak, like it had learned words, but not meaning. Before either of us could react, I heard footsteps on the stairs. Our daughter stood there, half asleep, eyes unfocused, hair tangled. She asked one question. She asked who had been calling her name. My chest tightened. She said the voice came from the fireplace. It said the voice sounded sad. It said it told her to come closer. My husband laughed nervously, told her it was just a dream, told her she was still asleep. But she wasn't scared. She was calm, attentive, listening. That terrified me more than the voice itself. We walked her back to bed. She fell asleep quickly, too quickly, as if nothing had happened. When we returned downstairs, the house felt different, heavier, thicker, like the air itself was holding its breath. The fire crackled softly. Shadows stretched longer than before. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the whisper returned. It wasn't distant anymore. It was right there. It begged, said it was cold, said it was trapped, said it had been waiting. This time, my husband heard it too. I watched his face change, watched disbelief turn into fear, fear into immediate confusion. When we opened the fireplace, we expected to find something reasonable, an animal, debris, anything. Instead, we saw the marks, handprints, black, smeared into the brick, fresh, still dusty. They weren't random. They were deliberate, pressed hard, dragged downward, as if something had been trying to pull itself out. The handprints didn't stop inside the fireplace. They led outwards, across the wall, along the floor, towards the hallway, towards our daughter's room. That's when I understood something had been listening. Something had learned our routines. Something had waited until the house was warm. We didn't talk about it. We didn't argue. We didn't hesitate. We grabbed our daughter, pulled on our coats, and left the house behind. We never returned. Some houses don't want warmth. They don't want families. They don't want Christmas. They want doors opened, walls exposed, fireplaces lit. And once they are, they never let go.